Not just about Sam Allardyce tonight, David Unsworth with the perfect finish to his time in charge. What was the key line from that interview with Wayne Rooney?
I don't think I've ever struck a football better in my life. I mean, to hear Wayne Rooney say that, we saw him in training even as a kid coming through with England, and he was audacious. He used to try stuff that you think, why has he tried that? But he had the technique, and today as well, I don't think I've ever seen Wayne Rooney strike a football better.
How hard is it to do what he did?
I think people at home will go, why is that such a great goal compared to the overhead kick? Because it's come to him, he's hit it straight away. But actually, technically, I think one of the players that would appreciate this as much as anyone is Paul Scholes, because he could hit a ball as clean as this as well. And look how far away he is. But the awareness, 54 metres. But the quality and the precision, the technique, there's a bit of shape on it as well. It's an absolutely moment of magic. It would be one of those iconic moments in Premier League history. You say,
it's right,
I was fortunate to see it, yeah.
Goes right in the middle of the goal, as well as I've ever kicked a football. And you think of the number of balls that he's struck over the years. But he gets that beautiful moment where everything comes together for him. The vision, the technique, and the thrill, really, for the fans. Because that was a goal, really, for the Goodison faithful.
And for a young kid, you're talking about striking a ball, his upper body is almost straight. You know, you see a lot of people... You wonder, normally that ball goes way over. His upper body's like almost over the ball. Yeah. It's stunning.
He's 32 years of age and he's had to wait this long for the best ever strike of a ball. And we were told that when he left Manchester United, he was virtually past his best. So let's see what he's got left in the tank.
And where does it sit for the both of you? Because I love that goal against Manchester City because of the relevance of the game and the technique involved. But you think this is better?
I think Wayne, I was saying before, I think he might appreciate, obviously that was a different one, Derby, late, technically more brilliant, but this goal is Wayne Rooney in a nutshell. He loves that big switcher play, the technique of that,
it's the new Wayne
and the accuracy.
That's maybe where he's going to play his football now.
Yeah, he might. The problem is he's going to try that now all the time because
yeah, no, it's great.
Brilliant goal, really was. He deserves it because they've had a difficult season, and I knew he could be a catalyst. But look. Comparing the goals is not fair because they're both stunning.
Yeah.
But if I think of Wayne Rooney, I think of him striking a football that clean, that beautifully, that powerful. This is...
It could go anywhere though,
yeah.
Couldn't it?
Look, these are just a reminder that this is a guy who's now scored 205 Premier League goals and he's been doing it monotonously for year after year after year. This is the one against West Ham that he scored previously from his own half as well. David Moyes in charge of United, of course,
but that bounces to him relatively nicely, you'd have to say.
Yeah.
This one today, the Everton one, it comes so quickly at him.
So what does Sam do with him now? Because this is a guy who's clearly still got the ability to change games for Everton Football Club. He spent so much of this game so deep for them. Is that the right place for Wayne?
Well, I think he's responded really well. He's been on the bench recently and he must have crossed his mind that was this the end of his career. It's a chance now, a new chapter for him. And I think it's really important that Sam Allardyce finds a place for him in this team. Sigurdsson was better tonight as well, yeah, but in a wide position.
Martin, you made a good point earlier. You know, the reason he scores that goal is because he will be deeper. He played almost in a three-man midfield, the furthest forward. You know, he won tons of tackles in that midfield, scored 3 wonderful goals. That's going to be his position. Calvert-Lewin led the line with his physical presence around the channel. Sigurdsson came in off the left.
I have a vision of his young kids dancing around the lounge when Daddy scored a goal from the halfway line, and maybe there's another Rooney in the future.
But he's still doing kids across the country tomorrow in the school playground
trying
to recreate Wayne Rooney's
soul. The playground's not big enough this time.
54 metres long, quite a big playground.
Amazing.
It's not very often that you say conceding a penalty is a good thing for a team, but strangely in that second half, it was conceding the penalty and the Pickford save. Just lifted this place, didn't it?
And I think Williams as well needed a huge break because he panics a little bit and they were starting to feel edgy at this point, and he's just the most experienced defender, gives away a penalty, and it's a little bit of a desperate moment. And I think for him, more than any other player, he needed his goalkeeper to rescue him. And maybe we saw a little bit of the change in the guard tonight with the England goalkeepers because Pickford was on it, he was sharp, his kicking is really important, and this save, this is what he's there for, was equally as important.
The game could have turned there easily.
For sure, yeah.
Could have easily turned. Big moment, and Everton needed it.
What do you think of Martin's comment there about the England setup? There's food for thought tonight, isn't there, for Gareth Southgate? Because he's seen Joe Hart give away a penalty, albeit save it, but then the goal gets scored. He's seen a poor clearance that led to the Wayne Rooney goal. At the other end, he's seen a faultless display from George.
Yeah, but think about it. It's unlucky. He makes a great save on the penalty, falls to Wayne Rooney. Comes off his line. clears the ball and it falls again to Wayne Rooney. The point is, Wayne Rooney's been a terrific servant to England. Joe Hart has been as well. It's now for the next guard, the next generation, for these young kids. Even if they don't play great at this World Cup, they need to learn.
Is it Pickford's time?
I think it's the young generation's time, in my opinion. I think they should all play. And I think we should forget about the result. They should grow together. Even if they fail together, they'll improve on it. And I think it's that generation's had its chance. And I believe the young kids should all play.
He's on his shoulder now. Pickford's on his shoulder. He's got a lot to do, But I mean, Joe there's raced out of his box. He makes the wrong call in coming. He backs himself. Calvert-Lewin he's just too quick for him. He gets there first. He brings him down. And he'll be disappointed with that.
But this sums up West Ham's season, by the way. Yeah. Joe makes a great save, falls straight to Wayne Rooney, and they never really recovered, West Ham. They had no attack. I feel sorry for Joe Hart as well, because, look, you need your defenders to react. They're just not there.
It was a disaster tonight for West Ham. We'll talk about West Ham in detail. We'll hear from David Moyes as well. And I think when we do hear from David, he may well have a bit of a moan about that penalty. Lots of West Ham fans on social media were saying that Joe Hart touched the ball, the penalty shouldn't have been given. So if you saw that Wayne Rooney had scored a wonder goal, joined us and didn't see the conversation we had at half-time, we'll just recreate it for you and get Graham Poll involved. Graham, we discussed this at half-time. Yes, we believe that Joe Hart touched the ball, but as far as you're concerned from a referee's perspective, that has no impact on the award of the penalty.
No, it doesn't. I think the guys in the studio highlighted things as well for us, that Calvert-Lewin does get the first touch, which is important. But really, it's the momentum of Joe Hart throwing himself forward at the feet. He's taken a chance. He needs to take the ball cleanly if he's going to do that. He doesn't do that. Therefore, he goes through Calvert-Lewin. Michael Oliver's got an absolutely superb view, as he had all night on all the decisions he made. Had a great game, and that's a clear penalty.
He had a great game tonight. Probably his best moment was just ducking his head out of the way of Wayne's shot.
I think that would have hurt quite a lot, because that was struck so well. And as you say, jumped out of the way just in time. We could have ruined one of the Premier League's greatest moments.
Yeah, it would have ruined a special moment. So well done to him. Thank you very much. Thanks. Just to pick up on what we were talking about, the goalkeepers there. What's your take on the Jordan Pickford Joe Hart conversation? Have we seen the New England #1 and the former England #1 here?
Well, with the World Cup coming up, we don't want to be seeing Joe Hart picking the ball out of the back of the net so often, and his confidence will become fragile. So he has to show that toughness. It's difficult for him because he's in a difficult situation. Pickford, though, has been in the same situation. But on the previous England games that they played, I thought Pickford did really well when he played for England recently, and it must be food for thought for Gareth Southgate.
Wayne Rooney's second goal. Let's take a look at that, because there was so much good about this from an Everton perspective, so much to build on for Sam Allardyce.
But the point is, we mentioned Wayne Rooney playing a bit deeper in midfield. Look at the amount of ground he covers to actually finish this off. Just runs by Kouyaté, never sees him, and his effort and desire. And that's what Big Sam will love. He'll build around Wayne Rooney, because he knows, he's not really been in a relegation battle before. But he's a fighter, Wayne Rooney, and this will suit him down to the ground.
There's obvious a lot of talk about Wayne Rooney. He's a huge star, but Kenny runs with the ball there very intelligently, comes onto his left foot, plays it wide. Davis is there, a willing runner who played very well tonight as well. Good service from the box. So Everton were unrecognisable from the weekend. I'm not sure what David Unsworth has said to the team, whether it was Sam Allardyce. We don't believe he's had any real involvement. There was a definite sign right from the kickoff that everything was being kicked long. The second half, that changed somewhat, but the confidence was there and they were sort of building on that performance. And it'd be interesting to see how Sam then comes in and makes his changes to that lineup.
Yeah, we'll hear from both the Davids in a bit, David Unsworth and David Moyes. It's your night, though, when a player is at a time as tough as Ashley Williams also gets in on the act. We can see his goal here. It came from the injury to Winston Reid.
Reid went off, Rice has come on, and invariably, as luck would have it, for David Moyes, it's gone into that area. Antonio as well, coming off the bench, his role. Look, he's a bit flat-footed, he runs across the face of him. Rice doesn't respond. And Williams then, for his endeavours, his luck is changing as well. He gets something, and that might just turn his season around.
Yeah, this is about more than just 3 points tonight for Everton, isn't it?
Oh, look, this changes their season. What are they, 14th now already? But you look at it from West Ham perspective. Arnautovic went off, spent 25 million on him. Doesn't have an impact on the game. Brings on Rice. The captain goes off and Reid. So many question marks. You think about the passionate West Ham fans. They'll be fuming.
OK, we'll ask those questions straight after the break today. Still thinks he can improve on. What are the lessons learned from Everton, even on a great night like this?
Well, I think maybe Calvert-Lewin, ball retention, ball into the big man, perhaps more balls into the channel. We know that's what Sam Allardyce will like to do and play from. The protection in front of the back four, which was there in the first half, disappeared a little bit in the second half. And he won't want them to overplay. He's made that very clear. He wants to hit channels. So there's work to do. He's yawning there.
Yawning in a game like this?
He's just come back from a holiday and he's been thrown back into the action. And I think he'd be quite pleased with what he's seen. Yeah. You know, they've travelled up the table. And they've got
4-0.
Delighted. Huddersfield at the weekend. Liverpool coming up, so no, it's fantastic for him to be back into it. What is now looking like a good situation,
and they look like nice fixtures to have as well. You know, Huddersfield are really struggling at the moment. They were smashed tonight by Arsenal. Apollon, it's a dead rubber, but then suddenly you've got the Merseyside derby. What a great time to get your team to perform.
But the point is, even that, you know, obviously Huddersfield, but that derby, Liverpool are going to love to play, and Big Sam is going to defend deep and hit teams on the counter-attack. They did that perfectly today. 4-0, clean sheet, 4 goals. He'll be thinking dreamland, and they'll be able to surprise a few people. And I think the defence looks more comfortable when they're a bit deeper and they're a bit tighter together. Not as open, not able to play in between the mountain knows. You know, if you got a bit of, you've got people in around you, your fullbacks and your midfielders, makes the job a bit easier.
Gay was in there sitting in front of Holgate did quite well today.
Davis did as well, didn't he?
He's a fullback essentially playing central defender, a bit more mobile maybe.
And a lot of those Everton fans were saying to us, we need Sam Allardyce because we're in a relegation scrap. Suddenly they're 2 points from the top half of the table. How quickly things can change in football. I'll tell you a team who are, though, in a relegation fight. David Moyes, West Ham. Let's hear from him. I still see the comment floating about that West Ham are too good or too big to go down. They've now taken 3 points from the last 21 available in the Premier League. That's the way the table sits at the moment. Based on the evidence, this is not a team too good to go down. This is a team going down.
Well, I think if you're a West Ham player and you start looking at that and think, well, are there a worse team than us that's, you know, can fall into that bottom three? I'm not sure there is on the evidence we're seeing at the moment. You're looking at David Moyes. Has he improved things? No. It certainly hasn't improved. Will these players stay with him long enough for him to turn it around? I think there's some harsh talking by the sounds of that at half time. Maybe these guys just can't take that from David Moyes. And he's been in this situation just last season and was relegated. So now you look at the wisdom of the selection of him as a manager. We've said he's the 4th in the all-time list of Premier League games that he's managed, which is quite remarkable. So we know he has the pedigree, but can he turn this around? The second half of his managerial career doesn't look good. So there's a lot of questions to be asked, and you know he's got to find a way for them to play. They didn't play with any expression in the first half. They weren't in the game.
But they struggled. They struggled to break down Everton, didn't they? And maybe, obviously, City, Chelsea, Arsenal not going to have much possession there. Maybe they can do what Everton did: just sit off them, try and defend deep, be compact. Because when they had the majority of the possession in the first half, which they did, they couldn't do anything with it. They didn't hurt Everton at any point in the game.
But they couldn't stop Wayne Rooney running from midfield today. If you can't stop Wayne Rooney, how are you going to cope against Manchester City in the next game?
You're not.
They didn't show any respect for Everton, did they, in an attacking sense? And I suppose rightly so in a way, but in any game of football, you know that people can hurt you at any given time. And it was just, you see the likes of Lanzini, they can't get him on the ball enough. Second half, yes, a little bit different, but it's okay playing when you're behind in the game, but this was a little bit of quality that we saw. Pickford again, picking that one out very well.
But it needs, look, they're getting crosses in. That's a good one from Zabaleta. Not bad from Masuaku. Needs people getting on the end of it. Ayew you didn't see him at any point in the game. Lanzini's their best player. Pickford picks that one out. Obviously, Andy Carroll would make a difference in the game. Arnautovic, a little layoff there, but that
just lacking quality.
It's just poor. It's really, really poor.
I'm not sure what Arnautovic is trying to do when he gets into those areas, whether he's devoid of any confidence.
But he should be playing on the left. Don't you think?
For sure.
It really frustrated you, didn't it, where Arnautovic played, and then he got hooked?
Look, if you have somebody better playing on the left, I say fine. But your second choice left back, Masuaku, who's playing left wing, and I know he's an athlete and he gives them pace. But Arnautovic, if you're going to pay 25 million for someone, play him in this position where he's accustomed to. He's more comfortable there. Play him in his position that he's used to, especially if a left-back's playing there. And I just think he's took him off, and it hasn't really had a positive effect for David Moyes. So he's going to find something that's going to work for him. Sam Allardyce and David Unsworth found it today, defending deeper, more compact, able to score 4 goals. David Moyes is going to have to find something that he can fall back on.
It's alarming because he's had time on the training ground now, and they're going backwards, and they're not listening to the messages, and there just wasn't the energy and the drive from his team at the beginning. And the West Ham fans, they've travelled up midweek from deep East London all the way here, and nothing really to shout about. And No, it's a hugely disappointing night for West Ham.
Yeah, you'd certainly feel for those travelling fans. Thanks ever so much for your company this evening. Really enjoyed that, not least because of the amazing